All right, here we go. A little Texas-Ohio State reaction as the score has gone final in Columbus. The Buckeyes beat the Longhorns 14-7 in a defensive slugfest. We're going to break it all down here on Four Verts. Plus, we'll bounce around the other games, look ahead to some of the other matchups coming up later today toward the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. My name is Harrison Graham. This is Four Verts. Be sure to subscribe to the channel with college football back. We're going to work in some more college content, obviously a lot of NFL videos for you guys as well. So if you want to stay up to date, stay locked in, go ahead and subscribe today. All right, 14-7 Ohio State. Pretty brutal showing for March Manning, if we're going to be honest. I think that's the story of the game here. So we'll spend a lot of time on Arch. Finishes 17 of 30, 170 yards, touchdown, and a pick, which is a respectable final stat line, but I'd say 60% of that damage, 70% was in the fourth quarter. He was mostly not effective. Not much downfield passing game until he threw the 32-yard touchdown, hit the nice cover two hole shot on that final drive where they were trying to drive down to go tie or win the game before he just skipped the ball in the flat, missed a couple of easy, just shallow crosses. Just all over the map outside of a couple of those throws down the stretch. And, you know, just kind of a funky game from him. You watch him throw the ball, and there's not a lot of comfort there. Not throwing with much timing, the anticipation. He doesn't have a big arm, yet he doesn't throw with that good of touch at the same time. I think he's got a long way to go. And I said it multiple times this offseason. The hype on Arch Manning almost feels unfair at this point. When people like Paul Feinbaum, who have been covering the sport for 40 years, say he's the best college quarterback since Tim Tebow, despite having hardly played, kind of feels like an unfair expectation. And I think we saw that play out today. He is just not where he needs to be in terms of his development. And look, this was kind of his first real start. Played a couple of games last year, so I don't think it's hit the full panic button if you're Texas, but at the same time, there has to be cause for concern. When he was just sitting in the pocket and throwing the football, it did not look good. I actually thought Steve Sarkisian called a pretty poor game. He didn't give Arch on the perimeter much. You know, Arch made a few things happen on some runs, but those were really just scrambles. Where were the bootlegs? Where are the get him on the perimeter and throw the ball, kind of split the field in half? You didn't see a lot of that. It was a lot of drop back passing, and I just don't think that's his strength right now. I think his strength is as a runner and throwing on the move. And we didn't see that nearly enough in this game from Texas. So I didn't love the game plan. I thought it took too long for Sark to adjust. We saw him make an adjustment early in that second half on that first drive where they got all the way down to the 1 yard line before getting stuffed on the QB sneak. He just peppered Wisner. Just handoff, 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 and it was working. The offensive line started to get some push. Arch had a couple of nice runs on that drive as well. And then, normally I'm an advocate for, QB sneak, tush push at 1 yard or less, but I thought get Arch in the shotgun and run either a zone read with Wisner or a QB sweeper power with Arch, get that momentum coming forward. And instead, they tried the tush push, and it just didn't work. I just didn't love the call. I thought Ohio State was getting more push up front in that game. So I think that was a fair spot to operate out of the shotgun, and they did not do that. Got stuff there. That was a huge play in the game. Ohio State's later able to extend their lead to 14-0. And even though Texas scored late and got the ball back with the chance to tie or win it, they never really threatened in this game. Like, if you're an Ohio State fan, I don't think you ever really thought this game was in doubt. The one moment you were like, okay, there's something happening here was that cover two beater that brought us to the 2-minute timeout in the fourth quarter, about a 30-yard completion throw of the day from Arch. You're like, okay, maybe there's a chance here. They're up near midfield, but then when he skips the out route and then throws the shallow cross behind Ryan Wingo, if he puts that on his front shoulder, he might still be running. Just too inconsistent. Too inconsistent for March today, and he did not play well enough to win this game. Are you guys concerned about Arch? It's only one game. Curious what the chat thinks here. Let me know. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Give me your thoughts on that. On Ohio State's standpoint of things, we do have to give them a lot of credit, especially Matt Patricia. I mean, Matt Patricia was a laughingstock his last few years in the NFL. He flamed out in Detroit as their head coach. Belichick brings him back to be the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. That experiment didn't work. He was out of football last year. He was doing some TV stuff, and Ryan Day hires him. And I thought that Ohio State defense was swarming. Now, again, Arch was missing some throws, but I thought Ohio State got good pressure. They tackled well in space. Outside of a drive or two, they contained the run well enough. Texas did find a little bit of that in the second half, but not any big runs to really kind of open up the floodgates. So I thought Patricia had the defense ready to go. I mean, Sonny Styles, he is just that guy's going to be a hell of an NFL player in a couple of years. I thought he played really well. Caleb Downs had a couple of nice plays. That Arvell Reese had a sack and a TFL also. He stood out to me. So I thought they looked pretty good defensively. Offensively, they didn't really do much. I think the main difference was ball control. Arch Manning threw an untimely pick. They got stuffed on the goal line. Ohio State, they kind of took what the defense gave them. They were comfortable punting the ball away to Texas and letting their defense play, especially once they got that initial 7-0 lead, which was on a 4th and goal from the 1. It's kind of the difference in this game, right? Ohio State punches one in, 4th and goal at the 1. Texas gets stuffed, 4th and goal at the 1. If that's flipped, maybe Texas wins. Or if Texas also punches their opportunity in, maybe we're in overtime. But it comes down to the little things in these heavyweight battles. And I thought Ohio State did the little things a little bit better today. Another indicator of that is they only had 2 penalties for 15 yards. Texas had 6 penalties for 50 yards. So, it was a relatively clean game for both teams, but Texas made 3 or 4 mistakes. I didn't feel like Ohio State really made any mistakes. They didn't do anything to jump off the page. Even Jeremiah Smith had a couple drops early, but they didn't shoot themselves in the foot too poorly to put themselves in jeopardy of losing this game. So if you're Ohio State, you're coming out of this game feeling pretty good because Julian Sayin took care of the ball. He clearly has a long way to go as well. 13 of 20, 126 yards and a touchdown. But I think they're going to be able to run the ball with Donaldson and Peoples a little bit and kind of just ease Sayin into this season. And obviously, the games will ease up a little bit because I said going into this game, a reason I liked Texas in a low scoring, close game was I thought Texas had the best defense in the country coming in. And I'm not sure I feel differently after this one. Arch was just so bad that eventually the defense bent a little bit, and Ohio State was able to capitalize. So, good win for the Buckeyes. Huge win for Ryan Day and company. Now they can kind of ease into the next couple of weeks. They got Grambling State at home next week, then the University of Ohio before going to Washington in about 3 weeks. So that'll be their next mini test. Illinois in about 6 weeks on the road. That'll be a good test as well. But, you felt like the winner of this game was pretty much a lock for the 12-team college football playoff. And I would say Ohio State's a lock at this point. They could lose 2 games the rest of the way, maybe even 3. You're going to have a non-conference win over Texas. You're going to get into the top 12 of that college football playoff. For Texas, looking ahead now, hopefully you can build some confidence against San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston the next few weeks. I think you get Arch a lot of drop back reps in those games against lesser competition because that's where he has the biggest room to grow is just sitting in the pocket and delivering an accurate ball because there were too many ducks today. He kept messing around with his shoulder. He just didn't feel comfortable. I don't know what was going on, but I think a lot of it is and not necessarily me. And I know I picked Texas to win it all yesterday, and we got a long season. They certainly could still do that. It got a long way to go. But I like their defense and I like their running backs. I still had question marks about Arch. We reigned this guy. And by we, I mean just the public, the national media. We haven't seen him play hardly at all. He did not look ready for prime time today when it came to playing against Ohio State. We'll see if that improves throughout the course of the season. You would expect it to, but long way to go for him as Texas now has to kind of just reset a little bit and get back into this season. A couple other games from the early window. Tennessee is about to finish off Syracuse 38-26, but they're about to score again. They've looked pretty good. Iowa State a quick 7-0 lead on South Dakota after their big win over Kansas State last week. Of course, later today we got some big games. LSU Clemson coming up tonight. That'll be a fun one. Might do a little reaction to that as well. We'll see. Might do something tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that here on the channel. But and then of course we've got the Sunday night game of Miami Notre Dame, and then TCU North Carolina, Bill Belichick's college coaching debut on Monday night. So that'll be very, very exciting. Keep us locked in here on Four Verts. We'll continue to keep you guys up to date with everything going on in the college football and NFL world. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the way out. We'll see you guys next time.